boxes, head for the next time running. Cause I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. And 1,000 times I've seen this road, 1,000 times. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I like standing still, but that's just a wishful plan. Ask me where I come from, I'll say a different land. But I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. I count gates and numbers, then play the guessing game. It's just the place that changes, the rest is still the same. But I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. And 1,000 times I've seen this road, 1,000 times. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I like digging holes, hiding things inside them. When I grow old, I won't forget to find them. I like digging holes, hiding things inside them. When I grow old, I won't forget to find them. I've got no roots. No roots. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no
I heard some voices that there's something going on, and this phenomenon is happening to people all over the world. And voice to skull technology has been around since the 70s publicly. Psychologists and scientists publicly proved to the public that they had voice to skull technology. There's newspaper articles on it, there's interviews on it, and I'm sure they had it long before that. But the American public is just now at whole hearing it for the first time, and they don't know what to think. They think it might be a little bit. People who don't know what gang stalking is, they think it might be strange or weird or whatever. Me personally, I have yet to have the voice to skull, but I've had some strange dreams that I think was somehow interfered with. But I know it's real because I've talked to so many people who've gone through it, and that was one of the things that me and you started on. Is you've had some experience with these psychotronic weapons?
Oh yeah, lots of it. That's like my biggest complaint. Like people can flash their brights at me all they want, but this voice stuff and the electronic weapons makes me go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have to be strong though to be a woman and to be in a situation to where you would easily be intimidated by men. You know, I don't think a lot of people realize it's not just about cars with lights following you. Don't they get guys to approach you in sort of like a hostile way to intimidate you?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like people,
Right.
I feel like like people are talking shit to my face all the time. And I've never had that sensation before. Like I've never been that insecure before all this happened. But I know it's not insecurity. Like I know they're really talking shit to my face, and people I've known for years and years and years are starting to act really strange around me. Just a very unsettling feeling.
Right, right. They're being told there's a disinformation campaign that's active against you. People are being told things about you that just aren't true. They're being misled about who you are. Somebody behind the scenes is trying to paint an image of you to people who don't know you, and they're trying to give those people that excuse as to make them feel comfortable to participate in a psychological harassment against you. And disinformation campaigns are old. The Nazis did it, the Soviets did it. It's even been done here in America. You know, the Japanese were interned in concentration camps here in America during World War II based off of disinformation campaigns. So what's happening to you is very strategic. It happens to me. I've been going through it for 3 years. And so the people around you, they're going to be acting like that because they're being told things that aren't true, but they don't look at it realistically. They think, well, why would anybody go through all that trouble to just make something up? Their minds aren't capable
Right.
their minds are not processing what's actually happening. And so, you're very heroic, and I'm just going to be quiet and let you tell your story, Rachel. Go ahead.
Yeah, the biggest part I wanted to share was my experience that was in rehab because I had called my sister like a few months ago, and this is after like I couldn't be in my town anymore. Like I almost feel like I was almost ran out of it in a weird sense because people were just starting to act super 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 strange. And this is when like the voices were really really loud. They were so loud day in day out that I couldn't hear my own thoughts. I couldn't like have a conversation with anybody. It was just like insane. And I'm glad they're toned down now. Because I don't think I could stand that for much longer. But anyway, so people like were, talking shit to my face. They were just acting really weird. They were over exaggerating their body movements, and you were talking about mimicking and mirroring. There was a lot of that going on, but in like a hostile way. And I'd been ran out of town, and I called my family member. I was like, I think I need to go to rehab because I thought like drugs was my biggest problem. No, this is my biggest problem. This whole gang stalking thing's my biggest problem. And so I was like, hey, I think I need to go to rehab. And I spent 8 days with my family waiting for a bed to show up at this rehab. And my family was acting really weird. That was the strangest 8 days of my life because it seemed like they were just bombarding me with all these like
Wow.
psychological tactics. Like they were
Yeah.
like, guilting me about my parenting. They were mirroring me. They were making fun of what I do for a living, and I, my personal opinion, I still haven't quite figured all this out, but I think someone approached them and taught them how to gaslight me as a manipulation to get me into rehab, and they think it's like a supportive way to support an addict, which is, completely wrong because I saw like their hearts weren't in a bad spot. I think they just had like misinformation, like you were saying. And
Mhm.
I almost had like a psychotic break like right before I went in there. Like I was hallucinating, and then I think I was dosed with LSD like somewhere within 2 to 3 days before I went in there. Because when I went in
Wow.
there, I was thinking all kinds of crazy stuff. I didn't know where I was. I thought I was in the witness protection program for a minute. I thought I was a victim of a government experiment. I thought I had joined a satanic cult. Like all these weirdo scenarios. And it wasn't until like I started coming down off of, I think it was like an 8 or 9 day trip, it seemed like. So if it wasn't like an acid trip, I'm guessing or a form of like stress induced hypnosis. I'm still not really sure on that one. So I spent like 6 weeks in this place, and there was not one other person in this place that was there for rehab. I was the only one there detoxing. I could tell. You can tell when someone's detoxing in rehab. I had people like you said, like you were talking about one of your previous things, where like with the street theater and whatnot. Like I would think I
Hmm.
saw it, they would read it, and then they would act it out in front of me. So I was faced. It felt like being John Malkovich almost. Like I was faced with so many aspects of
Right.
myself every day, and like if I wore like my boots one day, everybody was wearing those
Mm.
boots the next day. So I got mirrored a
Mm.
lot, and I
Yep.
understand. I don't even
Yep.
understand how I got out of there, to be honest.
Yep. That the situation sounds very familiar to mind control experiments. I'm gonna end up emailing you a couple files after we get through with our interview tonight. And the MK Ultra experiments were conducted. There's like 150 sub projects of MK Ultra, and they were conducted on regular, everyday people off the streets most of the time. People who were on drugs, people who work 9 to 5s, and they would experiment with LSD. They would experiment with all sorts of different stuff, and the people oftentimes would be taken to places and they'd be given these drugs and they would be studied. And I've taken LSD before. I did when I was younger. I did it once in high school, and I did it a couple times in my early 20s. And I know for a fact that through the experience of LSD, it's very easy to change somebody's perception of reality and get them to agree and participate in a scenario that they normally would not. And who knows where you were at? I mean, it's very interesting. Psychologists have conducted mind control experiments at universities, hospitals, even the prisons. There was guys in the penitentiary back in the 50s and 60s taking LSD being experimented on. So this stuff happened in large numbers, and it still goes on today. Um, Gang stalking is very resemblant of mind control, especially the third stage that I put together called the sensitization stage, where, as you described, how they were mimicking you and mirroring you, wearing the same boots as you, doing things that you would be familiar with. Those are attacks on somebody's subconscious and conscious mind. And
Yeah.
it's, and when somebody lives like this every single day for a long period of time, it does something through neuro-linguistic programming, as you're familiar with. And this is mind control being done on the public, and civilian groups are being financed to do it. Whether they understand it to that degree or not, it's still occurring.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I was actually talking to one of my friends earlier this evening who I haven't seen like for, quite a few years, and she was telling me about her experience going into what was supposed to be a rehab as well, and it ended up being like a psych ward, and she said like she was drugged and everything too. And that was the only that like she's the only other person besides what I heard from you on your YouTube video who has this experience of like going to a quote unquote rehab and getting drugged the whole time you're in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I that's why earlier I was asking you about the cults, religious groups or other sorts of cults, and you said you had been approached by people who, resembled cult members or resembled, uh, certain religious groups, which basically are cults. People run cults out of churches. They use the religion as a front a lot of times to do what they normally could not do. And I think it's possible that this gang stalking stuff could be retaliatory against you for not entertaining the cults. There's a few women that I've spoken to. They were approached and asked to join cults, and they refused. They declined on the offer. Then after that point, they started getting gang stalked heavily.
Yeah,
And
because I
cults
haven't
deal.
seen them since this started.
See,
Come to think of it.
see, and I have some intuitive insight. I feel that you may be a part of an experiment as well. It may be both things going on, and you may fit the profile you may fit the profile with other characteristics that they're experimenting on that they see in other people, and they're just seeing how you react to certain stuff to get an overall view of some of the stuff they're working on to do on the public. That could be going on. You know?
Yeah, see, that
They,
makes more sense because, like, I don't fit that normal TI target because, like, I don't know anyone in the military. I don't know anyone who's, like, big on, like, technology research. Nothing like that. Nothing like that at all.
right, right. And you said now, if you choose to go into it, we can. You said that at one point in time you were working 9 to 5 somewhere, and you pretty much got pushed out of the workplace by gang stalking.
Yeah, I was just thinking back on it. I was, not awake at that point. I was still sleeping the whole thing. But when I think back on it, like I was accused of smoking drugs in my car at, like on my break or whatever, and it wasn't me that they saw. Like, because they're like, oh yeah, we had a customer complaint that you were out smoking something that was not a cigarette in your car, and you had a Red Robin hat on. Red Robin is where I used to work. I used to be a line cook there. And I knew it wasn't me because I always take my hat off when I go on break for that very kind of reason. I just don't want the public to, associate me, like, because I smoke cigarettes back there, so I don't want them to associate me with working there and setting a bad example for kids and all that other kind of junk. And so, like, yeah, someone told them that I was doing that, and then one by one, like, my boss kept getting more and more complaints about like my drug use and like that I treated so and so badly or that I didn't give them a half hour break because I was training to be a manager, and just all these complaints on the bartender. I forgot what he said, but yeah, it was really strange. And like I kept getting called back into the office, and my hours kept being cut for like stuff that I wasn't aware of going on.
Right, right, absolutely, absolutely. Have people who have you seen any of the people that you worked with recently? Have you ever seen these people again? Some of the your coworkers or different sorts of people around you at the workplace, outside the workplace, since you end up leaving?
I've reached out, but I haven't seen any of them. They haven't gotten
Okay.
back to me. They don't even read my messages on Facebook or nothing.
Right, right, right. When people are being gang stalked, what they do is they socially isolate the person. I've heard one person put it like, that you feel like you're almost in a glass jar. Like they go to all the different people around you and explain stories to these people and get them to go along with this gang stalking stuff. It's very compartmentalized. Different people approach different people to get them to do it. And like you said, people start looking at you different and behaving at you differently. And it's one of the most crippling feelings somebody can find. Somebody will never know what that's truly like unless they experience it. They will never know what that's like. And it does something deeply psychologically disturbing to a person who grows up in society believing that they have a fair opportunity to make friends and believing they have a fair opportunity to talk to people openly. Yeah, some people may view somebody in certain ways naturally, and a person may struggle to find social acceptance or acceptance in their family unit, yada yada yada. But when you have a well-financed network, technocratic network that is running at a full campaign to purposely isolate an individual from society, that's a whole different ballpark. And it's a very, very tough road to walk. And so, have you felt like, basically, like you just don't, you just no longer belong in society, so to speak? Like, you go and you meet people, they get approached, they get a story about you, they look at you differently. How bad has that affected you in your life?
It's gotten really bad, especially since I've been out of wherever the hell like I got sent to. It's been really bad since I got out of there because, yeah, I do have that feeling of like displacement where like I don't fit in, with the old social groups I used to hang out with or the newer ones. I feel like, I don't fit in the workplace. But yeah, it is like an outcast kind of feeling. Like I almost like feel like I have a stamp on my forehead that says I'm insane. Stay clear of me. I'm unstable, or something or a sign on my back I'm not aware of. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. Yeah, exactly. That's what it's meant to do. And I don't think people really understand what's going on with you. Even if they know that the gang stalking is real, some people will internally know there's something going on, and there's not, and this is done to mess with you. It's done to cause emotional distress, isolation. It's done to cause psychological harassment, and people will know that, but they don't really understand what that's like. I've heard people say such things as, "Why don't you ignore it?" or "Why don't you avoid it?" or why don't you just they just don't get it. They just don't get it. There's no way of them knowing what that's like. And you know, I've come to the conclusion that people like me and you should meet up with others like us and get further, maybe back away a little bit from the everyday Joe, or and get a little bit out of the cities, go camping, try to build some sort of social structure and social support amongst ourselves without depending upon the approval of the quote unquote the establishment. If we're not going to be treated fairly at these workplaces, at these schools, at these hospitals, we can't go to the cops, we can't go to anybody. Then to me that's a sign that we need to inform people around us what's going on, but at the same time, as we're only one person, we can't inform a whole city. We have to get some distance away from the stress and the strain of it. And people go to drugs sometimes to heal themselves from this. And you yourself, you're a young woman, very attractive, and you said you've had some experience with getting high. There's nothing wrong with that. Do you feel that that's a part that might be a coping mechanism at this point? Maybe you were doing it before, a little bit before this happened, but definitely now, do you feel it may be a coping mechanism?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely a self-medication.
Right, right. Self-medication, self-medication. What do you think about the idea of withdrawing your energy and like trying to find an alternative lifestyle, alternative way of living that's quote unquote off the grid, or out of the social, out of the stranglehold of the corporate world?
Well, I think, like we were speaking about earlier today, we get enough people together to at least like sit around talking and entertain the idea that each one of us has a special set of skills, and each one of us that is being targeted is, a little more intelligent, a little more open-minded than the average person, and so everybody has something unique to bring to maybe start that up.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. I talk to people all the time. You know what? I've been recently, I know two people who are addiction counselors, and they're both getting gang stalked. I know a psychologist who's getting gang stalked. I know so many people who come to me from the professional world with college degrees, with careers, and they're saying that it's horrible. I can't go to work anymore. I can't do anything. I'm divorced. My children look at me differently. One of my friends will talk to me. I spent all these years getting a college degree. Now it doesn't do me any good now that I'm getting gang stalked. I'm suicidal. I want to do, and it's like, wow, you mean you spent all this time in society jumping through the hoops, being a good boy or a good girl, listening to your professor, getting these degrees, and the minute you get gang stalked, it all falls apart in 2 seconds flat. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and this is the world we're living in. People are jumping. People have grown up in society and have jumped through all the hoops and been good boys and good girls. No criminal record, never did anything wrong, straight A's in school, attend their work 24/7. Next thing you know, they're getting gang stalked and their whole world falls apart. They get gang stalked for 2 weeks and want to jump off a bridge somewhere, or they start getting on drugs, or they just lose their minds and end up in a psychiatric ward. That's what gang stalking is doing to people out here, and it's nothing nice. And I think people like me and yourself, we hit it off on the you're talking about chakra work and things like that, esoteric stuff, alternative types of healing remedies like organic food, those different sort of things. These alternative systems need to be utilized in a way to where we can have our own economy, buy and sell stuff from each other. Like, hey, I'll sell you something, you sell me something, I'll sell you something. We're going to have to come up with a system.
Yeah, it's more like
that
a barter and trade.
We have to. We cannot rely on the corporate world, because I've been to corporate offices getting gang stalked. I used to call corporate offices and tell them about gang stalk and ask them, do they need assistance with workplace mobbing, if they ever heard of it. They know exactly. I've dealt with, I came out with my beat gang stalking stuff in June of 2016. I used to go I used to go just walking for days and days and days and talk to everybody I could, from homeless people on the streets to presidents of the bank about it. And it happened. It happened everywhere. I had to, but I've learned that we have to come up with a system that these people orchestrating these harassment networks can't navigate through as easily. We get
Yeah,
out
and
into
the
the
less
woods.
technology involved, the better.
But yes, thank you, thank you. The less technology involved, the better. We get out into the woods, or we get out into the desert or the mountains or whatever for a little bit. The cars can't follow us through the woods.
Yeah, they can't GPS our location on our phones. They
That
can't eavesdrop on our
right.
mics and our cameras.
Right. And we are products of, we forget we're products of the corporate world. We were born and raised here in society and in a very technological era. And this is the first time in history that computers have ran everything. Computers run every facet of society, and that has never happened on this planet. That computers, I mean, as far as human beings, as we know human beings now where we are, computers have never run every facet of society, and we're in a world where computers do that. Where computers and technology are, gang stalking's coming through. And that's how it's all orchestrated and coordinated. And so getting away from these computers, getting on alternative systems, learning to live without being in the stranglehold of the corporations is essential to our spiritual and psychological progression. We have to start thinking for our mind instead of with our mind, and learn to move on and let these old systems die away and let the people who want them have them. But because it's not doing, like yourself. How long did you say you just figured this stuff out? About 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's been about a week and a half.
A week and a half? Okay. Now, the one good thing about technology is, at least the internet, we can find each other and talk about gang stalking. So it's sort of a double-edged sword. Without the internet, we really wouldn't have been able to find each other, us people getting gang stalked, and we wouldn't really be able to learn about it. But at the same time, we're so isolated and separated from each other. We're all over the world,
Right.
and
I was
and
I had a question. I was wondering if in all your research that you've done, if anyone else has tried to come up with this type of idea and failed, or if it's never been tried before, or what have you came across?
the idea of detaching away from formal society as we know it.
Yeah, and like starting out on our own.
You know what? I've never come across anybody going through gang stalking who's been doing that or who has done that. It doesn't mean that. Well, no one has told me that they've done it.
Right.
No
I
one's
haven't
told
found
me that
anything
they.
either.
Yeah, yeah. And I've spoken to over 100 people, and no one's come out and said that. Yeah, I left. I lived way out. No one's done that. But I have found that the people who live the furthest into civilization, like in cities like New York or LA, those are the people that are the most affected by it. I have
Yep,
found that.
Seattle's a big one.
Yeah, no, I wish I feel so bad that you missed a conference call earlier. There's a woman, she used to be married to some sort of naval scientist or something. He has an amazing wealth of knowledge on electronic and psychotronic weapons, and she sat there for about 10 minutes talking about what was happening in Seattle, and I didn't even bring Seattle up. She brought it up. She lives in Victoria, British Columbia,
Mhm.
right above
Yeah.
Seattle, right there in Canada. Yeah, and so
Mhm.
she knows a lot about it, and we're gonna have to hook something up for tomorrow or this week to where we can all get together. You can talk to her because she was saying Seattle, Washington is under immense, immense psychological harassment with these weapons.
Yeah, it's insane downtown. It is crazy. Like I don't even like being down there anymore.
Right, right, yeah. Yeah, nature has supported humans for thousands of years. I mean, way beyond thousands of, hundreds of thousands of years or whatever humans have been here as we are now. But nature has supported us before technology. And we're gonna have to figure something out, because the people who are orchestrating this harassment on us, we don't see them, we don't interact with them, but they're watching us, and they know what they're doing to us, and they know that they know society can't protect us, they know the police can't protect us, they know the government isn't going to do it, they know the corporations aren't going to do it. They're the ones running the corporations are the ones running it all now. They know that we cannot be protected. They know that. They understand that society cannot protect us. They know that. And so they're looking at us, they're preying on us 24/7. And so it's getting to the point to where we're in a era of civilization where we're reliant upon these corporations to get by. What happens if we can't get into the workplace anymore? Every time we go sign up for a job, we get stalked out of it. You see, we're going to have to figure something out. And I think it's deeply connected to spirituality. It's deeply connected to exploring other parts of our consciousness, entering a stage in an era where we expand our consciousness and connect to other portions of our consciousness. Um, and so that's something that we're going to have to do. And it's going to have to be in person. That's one of the biggest things I'm on right now. And that's going to be the struggle, because we don't have any monetary we're trapped in a situation where we don't have the monetary finance to just give everything up and everybody just meet up. And plus people are
Right.
scared. People are scared. Like, what do I do if I just go do this and it doesn't work out, blah, 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 blah. People are scared at the same time. People are confused. It's a dramatic situation, but but there will be success stories. There will be victories in it. And so I met one woman who was being gang stalked. I was hanging out with her for like 3 days. It was pretty traumatic seeing how she was so affected by it.
Oh yeah, I haven't. Oh yeah, I have run into one person. I take that back. I have ran into one person who I like just figured out a couple of days ago was a TI. Um, like he had lost his mind. Like he had lost his mind, but he did know what he was talking about. He was just so affected by it that he couldn't function because he would just drive around like all day. Like my intuition tells me to go talk to this person, and he came and picked me up in his truck, and we were talking for a little while, and we were just driving around aimlessly because he was like, take a look at those like 9 white cars going this way, and every time like I'd like lean my head back or put my hand like near my face, he's like, who are you signaling to? Who are you signaling to? And the radio's taken out of his car. The wires are everywhere. I thought this dude had lost his damn mind, but like I guess I'd be the only TI that I've ran into, and I wish I would have spent like a couple of days with him, like you spent with the lady you were talking about, so I could get a better grasp on how it looks from the outside and get a little bit more, grasp on, what's going on internally with myself.
Right. Right. Yeah, yeah. It's a situation where it's almost like when we do come out and get a hold of each other, the people are so messed up and damaged by it. Like you hang we like say it's like two people getting together and hanging out, and the person has been so affected by this psychological harassment and stalking. It's almost like the Vietnam effect, like the flashback effect, to where they know what's going on, they have a lot of insight, but they're so messed up.
Right. And I think maybe if they
Yeah.
had a little bit more support and awareness and some sort of like connection to other people, they wouldn't be that far gone.
That's right. Right. That's really what I want to count on people like you for, is helping you, communicating with you. It's my job to help you to fill in blanks, and to help you discover more about what this experience is about that you're going through, and at the same time help you to be a leader at whatever level you feel comfortable with. And then we try to work together and shape some sort of destiny out of that, because time is of an essence. You know, Money is nothing. Time is priceless. You can't buy time. 1 second, you can have $1 trillion. You can't buy a second. I don't care who you are. You can't buy time. And so the time that we spend communicating has to be used in the most effective manner possible. And it's nice to get together and just talk and chit chat and hang out on the phone. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're social creatures. We want to talk to people who can help us. But to have that final product out of that is what really counts. And all knowledge is self-knowledge. And so we're going to have to be able to build together and be builders and, create and create opportunities where there is no opportunities, right? And so it starts like me and you talking. The next time we bring somebody in, they start talking, and then eventually when we feel comfortable, we can like put plans into fruition and do things. But it takes risk and opportunities. You have to be willing to take those steps to make it to your goals.
Right.
Right, because my perception is like, people want to be in an area where they feel safe at. People want to be in an area where they feel accepted. I look at it like this. If somebody looks at you and is around you and they don't know that there's something going on, there's something wrong, they're not going to be able to fix it. If you got to tell them all this stuff 20 times, then that means they already missed the boat. They can't help you. But if you come
Yeah,
across
exactly.
somebody, see, but if you come across somebody who we didn't even know each other, you didn't know me, I didn't know you, but we both knew what each other were going through before we even spoke on the phone.
Yeah, and I haven't seen anyone else out there. They're educating us definitely, like the other people who do the YouTube channels, and I think that's the only really like known method of communication for us at this point in time. There's no books out there, nothing like that, but at least to my knowledge. But um I lost where I was going with this. Yeah, being able. Oh, like you're the only one I've come across. This was my point. You're the only one I've come across that's like, hey, let's like band together and like figure this out because what we're doing right now is not working. And when I found out that this is an ongoing thing, it doesn't stop at any point because I've just been waiting for the voices at some point to tell me, okay, all you got to do is this and we'll go away. No, I've fallen for that 6 times already. They're not going away. But we got to do something else. Like this is not okay. And so I'm glad at least someone out there is saying, okay, now we know what the problem is. Let's do something about it.
Of course. And I think when we do come together and we do step out of the area of the sphere of influence that the problem is coming from, I think there's going to be we're going to have more insight and more powers available. I think we might be able to do some stuff we didn't know we could do before. And
Exactly.
you know, right. And see, these people are these people, they know you're hurt. They know things have happened to you. You've been put into situations that you don't like. Growing up, things might have happened that even you never even told anybody about. They like to traumatize. They like to traumatize people and try to keep them so confused and so messed up that they won't be able to think clearly and make good choices. These people are demons. They're enemies of my God. I know that for a fact. And and once you start being able to heal yourself and get back right in your mind, and you will be able to own your fears. You know, one of the big things about gang stalking is we can study the street theater, we can study the brightening, we can study the gaslighting, we can study the noise campaigns, covert drugging, the electronic harassment, we can study the mimicking, we can study anything we want that they're doing. But once we begin to own our own fears and we begin to recognize our fears and identify the situation and what's going on, that's when we start gaining power over it. And one thing they don't want you to do is start owning your fears and start realizing that these fears are possessions. They don't want you to find out how to put life in proper perspective. And that's what I want to help you do. I want to help you strongly work on that and I want to help to build you up and make you a better person and bring you back to life. No drug can do that for you, but I'm telling you, my God's going to do that for you. And everything that's going on right now with you is just a stepping stone for you to come closer to where you need to be.
Yeah, that does make sense. It's better to be moving forward than stagnant. And I've always been one of those people that believes everything happens for a reason. But this is really a humdinger of like, a process to figure out.
Most definitely, most definitely. And the insight that you have, there's more to it. There's more stuff within yourself that's going to be coming out. Now, I want to show you something. If me and you are hanging out, and me and you say red shirt, I say red shirt, or you say red shirt, or you say brightening. If we both say brightening or gaslighting around each other, I'm going to know what you're talking about, and you're going to know what I'm talking about. But the people out there walking the streets, when they hear us say that, they're not going to know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, because only a partial and mostly false information.
Right, right. But they're not even. If I said, look, they're doing brightening, and somebody was listening to us talk, they wouldn't even know what we're talking about. We've been put into a culture of our own, a dimension of our own, and there's strength in that. That there's strength in that, and within that realm that this gang stalking stuff, it's a realm within itself. Within that realm, you can build, like the scripture says, you can build mansions. You store your riches in heaven or whatever. In this area that the gang stalking stuff's going on, we can create new opportunities. Like, if you see me, I got a PayPal. People from time to time look out for me and care about me and want me to enjoy things, have money. I do what I can to help everybody. But people have been kind to me and to do that for me. I never would have been able to do counseling. I never would have been able to do courses for people had I not got gang stalked.
What's
I
funny
never would have
is,
been.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was finished. I was just saying I've had to create some new opportunity where there was no opportunity. When I came out and said I beat gang stalking, nobody had ever said that before. Nobody had ever went online and did that before. I did that. I've been creating opportunities out of this. And so my whole point is, I'm just going to leave it like this. Together, within unison, we'll be able to create opportunities where there are no opportunities. That's the point I'm making. Within the realm of gang stalking, there's more opportunities and more potential had it not been going on.
Right. I remember, like, before I started with the whole gang stalking thing, I had a really, really big interest in psychology and counseling, and I like teetered on the idea of drug counseling, but I didn't know if that was which direction I wanted to go with it at that point in time. But I never thought I'd see the day where I'm like, I'm interested in being a gang stalker counselor of a new society. That sounds weird, but it might be a profession one of these days.
Yeah, yeah. It's something that I'm doing full time now. I mean, I do this full time now, and it's starting to get to the point to where I'm realizing the need for it is greater than I thought it was. Because there's people coming out of nowhere, like, I've been getting gang stalked and I've never talked to anybody who's been going through it, and I'll talk to them for a little bit, and we'll create opportunity and help them to be better at what they want to do in their life, make them feel safe, make them feel like they're not alone, give them a vision. What their government couldn't do for them, or what the cops couldn't do for them, or even what the United Nations couldn't do for them, I'm discovering I can do that for them through a phone conversation. That's opportunity I've never seen before. You mean I'm doing
Yeah.
something that even the United Nations isn't jumping on? That's a big feeling. And so that's opportunity we can be proud of. And you're going to be I'm telling you, once you see the plan that my God got for you, and you start talking more and more on the phone, everything's going to look small. Getting high, that's going to look small. The people that act weird around you, that's going to get small. Once you see the riches that are in store for you, and the rewards you're going to get, you're going to be important to the community.
See, that would be an amazing feeling. And I think that, like, purpose right now is important for all of us because, we've like pretty much lost our identities, and we're lost, we're isolated, we're lonely, we're confused. So I think like us like finding that purpose in this new, I guess, lifestyle that we were kind of forced into involuntarily, which sucks. Getting something out of it positive is a good focus as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. We have to have that. We have to have trophies, so to speak, to keep us motivated. We have to have something to show for all this. And like right now, the interview that we're doing, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to be able to relate to you. There's going to be a lot of people there's going to be a lot of women, especially, who are going through the same situation you're going through. They're being gang stalked. They don't have any YouTube videos about it. They may have never even talked to anybody about it. They're just finding out for the first time what's going on, just like you did a week and a half ago, a couple of weeks ago. And see, I've been here doing this for 2 years. It started 3 years ago, but I've been here doing this for 2 years. And I've been watching new people come in and new people come in, and I'm telling you, you got something within you. You got potential right there. Leadership qualities, and a strong follower makes a strong leader. And so that's why I want to sponsor you. Um, from here on out, I want to sponsor you and help you to achieve your goals, because I know that society is not able to create a venue to help you do that. And so I want to sponsor you with nothing in return, just to help you get from A to B, you know? And,
Right.
and
And I'd like to pass that along as well. And
right,
hopefully
right.
get some more people like on this track.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen as you're becoming more knowledgeable. I can even hear it in your voice right now. It's like, you know, your senses are starting to open up a little more to these new realizations. And as you grow in that, you're going to be able to lead other people. There's going to be somebody coming along a week from now, 2 weeks from now, who don't know anything about gang stalking. And then after you talking to me a few times, you're going to be able to start explaining it to them and breaking it down to them. And now I want to school you on my school, the confusion stage, distraction stage, sensitization stage, and the manipulation of sight and sound, synthetic noise, natural noise, objects, colors, the illumination of the lights, the brightening, and you're
Mhm.
coming out of the confusion stage. And what that means is you're beginning to identify and realize what's been happening to you and what people have been trying to take from you, or situations they've been trying to put you in. Now they're going to start to focus more in on you and create emotional connotations on their attacks. They're going to try to get deeper into your psyche and mess with you. These people are demons. They're enemies of my God. And as you move from that point, they're going to try further to sensitize you, because you've been able to jump through the hoops and get past it. And that's aggravating them. That's aggravating them. But that's okay, though. There is no rest for the wicked. Demons don't have rest. And I want to work you through my school and give you the insights you need, and make you strong in that foundation, and make you be solid in that foundation to the point to where you will not need any type of any schooling, and you will be able to create your own systems and teach me things as we progress.
Yeah, and like if we're all starting out fresh and starting out new together. We all do have a lot to learn from each other.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And
I'm just glad. I'm just so thankful there's someone out there reaching out to other people, and I'm really, really curious as to what like motivated you to like go out and just start reaching out, like like that lady that was going around knocking on doors, just trying to make sense of it. and you're going around like talking to people, you know, helping them make sense of it. Like what like because I can just see like waking up one day and just going out and doing it. So like what was like the thing that happened that made you think I'm gonna spread the word, you know? I'm gonna make sense of this.
Well, I thank you for asking. I knew that there was a lot of people who needed my help. I knew there was people who were in bad situations who did not know how to deal with it. As I had found, I had discovered talking to the people and approaching the people and talking to them about it metaphysically changed how I felt about it. When it first started happening to me, it was a horrible feeling. It was a heavy feeling, very disturbing, and it was horrible. And once I started putting that energy out there and going into the stores I started going to stores and telling the managers what was going on. I started going, everywhere and doing it. I was just getting active, and I said, you know what, somebody's going to need this, and that's what made me want to create opportunity for new people, and it's going to save somebody's life. It's going to save. That's the bottom line. Is it's going to save somebody's life, but more importantly, it's saving my life. It's saving my life because it's allowing me to have a good vision and a spiritual path for myself. A system that I created that I didn't have to go
Oh,
pay
I'm like positive you already have like saved a life because I'm sure like someone was on the edge and then decided to be like, oh, what the hell? I'll call this dude, and they're still here because of that.
Yeah, you're saving somebody's life tonight. Rachel, you're saving lives right now by doing this interview because what is it going to take? What is it going to take to push somebody over the edge who's already at the edge? Not very much. And what this interview is doing is it's giving people, a time to reflect on what's happening to their life and recognize that they can take some power over the situation and they can manifest themselves out of that. And us co-creating this interview is going to give people that opportunity to do that. And so you're saving lives right now. You'd be surprised how many people come on YouTube, listen to my videos, and it does wonders for them. It's not me doing it. It's not me doing it. It's my God doing it. I can't take any credit for it. I can give you more credit than I give myself because had it not been for the spiritual destiny that the powers that be had for me, I wouldn't be able to do anything. And so it's not me doing it; it's the spiritual force of the matrix doing it. And you're a part of that, though. I'm giving you full credit on that. You're a part of that. And what I want to do is help you perfect that and get you more solid. Sorry, my throat got dry. Get you more solid and get you more sturdy to the point to where you feel like you don't even gotta go. You want to go smoke some bud or whatever you do. You don't gotta go get high. You don't gotta do nothing. All you gotta do is try to make ends meet and get by, and you can have a place within this networking to help other people. As you gain knowledge, you can help other people do it. There's something you can work on and perfect. It's like a craft you'll be able to use. Pretty soon you'll have people coming to you for support and help. You'll like you were saying earlier, you'll have to sponsor somebody and get somebody through it and be there to answer questions and stuff.
I know we should try to get like away from like the original diagrams that we have, but I think we should like almost have like a 12-step recovery for us or something.
Right. What would be so cool? What would be so cool more than ever is if you had a place that you could come here or somewhere, not somewhere away from where you're at, and all the distractions, getting high, you don't got to mess with it anymore. You don't got to do it anymore. All the people who are keeping you, see, people are keeping you in a bubble. They're keeping you trapped. They're keeping you in a mindset to where you want to escape the pain, and then you need somebody there who understands. You need people you can network with that can feel where you're coming from. These people are trying to keep you in a state, make you a dead person. so to speak, make you one of the non-living. And it'd be good if you had a place to where you could come to where you can clean your mind, clean your spirit, and clean your health, you know? And that's what people need more than ever. A phone call is a great opportunity to get started. An email is, but most people out there, they need somewhere they can go. Do like a 3-week program. Wouldn't wouldn't that be the bomb if we had a 3-week program set up where people could come to like a cottage or something somewhere and just learn for like 3 weeks everything they need to know?
Right. And hopefully we don't get lumped in with the cult like stigma of it all. But yeah, that would be amazing. It's like it's like
Yeah,
step one, you're no longer in denial you're being gang stalked.
right. Yeah. Yeah, step one, you're no longer in denial that it's happening. And like that's why I bring back to the confusion of what's going on in the confusion stage. And creating new opportunity. I like what you were saying about the AA meetings and all that stuff. That's a really great way to get people involved, is coming up with stuff they're familiar with. Are you familiar with Alcoholics Anonymous a little bit, or the
Oh yeah,
Narcotics
I've been
Anonymous?
to several meetings.
Right, right. So that's what I'm talking about, is being
Gang
versatile.
Stalkers Anonymous. That'd be awesome though,
that
because you go to those like support groups or whatever, you hear everyone's story, you're not alone, and that's been like the foundation of NA, AA, like all these anonymouses out there. That's like the foundation is like people can just go tell their stories, and it's healing.
it really is. It's a situation where you need to be some. It's a situation to where you need to be somewhere where you can feel comfortable and somewhere where you can feel safe. And if we can form something like that, so and other people can come and feel safe, then that'd be the greatest thing imaginable. If it works, it works, no matter what it is. Whether if we, adopt it around, like a structure like that, the AA stuff or whatever type of structure, if it can work for people and help people and actually get people to a position to where they can count on themselves and be leaders and get through this and help other people, then that's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it is. We've been on here. Let me check. How long? We've been on here about 30 minutes already, right? I can't see my phone, the tip of it,
Yeah,
because
I think we passed it a little bit ago. I wasn't really paying attention.
right, right. Okay. Well, what I was gonna say is, listen, we'll stop here because you put in a lot of effort and you put in a lot of great work, and we'll stop here, and I'll work on the interview in the next couple of days. I'll go through it and I'll put some stuff together. I'm gonna check out those music videos you were showing me, and we'll come up with something real cool. And then in the meantime, like I'll text you tomorrow or you text me or whatever, and then we'll just continue. I'll send you some information tonight through your email, and we'll just continue on a progressive path, and just keep that edge going, and keep the work going.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I think it's any kind of informational material that you have found legit, anything you stumble across yourself. That way I'm not just like wing-dinging it all over the internet, kind of hit and missing all the time. Because I feel like maybe if I had a little bit more structure in what I'm like reading or what areas I need to learn about what, and I won't just be all scattered all over the place like I am right now as far as my research goes.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. I'm gonna send you a couple packets right away, on the MK Ultra files, and
Perfect.
you know, and it's a lot of files in there. You won't be able to read all of it. It'll take you a long time. It'll take you a long time, but just go through it and just look at it. You can see all the types of experiments they've done on people with LSD, all the sorts of things they've done, and your spiritual insight, your intuitive ability is going to be able to get something out of that experience just by reading through it. And then I'll send you some more information about a lot of other stuff. And then tomorrow, if you have time, we'll put something together so you can talk to the woman in Canada that knows about the Seattle scenario.
That'd be awesome.
Right, right. Most definitely, most definitely. And you got my phone number, you got me on email and text, and so if anything jumps off and you just need to talk for whatever reason, I'll be here as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your help, and I'm happy to be here and happy to be doing this interview.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. No problem, sweetheart. And so I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow, and we'll leave it off at that.
Okay, I will talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. All right, Rachel.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.